There is speculation today about whether or not Mr. Putin is still alive. Mr. Zelensky asks that question. At the same time, Mr. Medvedev makes a very, very saber-rattling point just a few minutes ago. He says he's warned of nuclear war if if Russia is defeated in Ukraine. In a statement on Telegram, he says that a meeting of top defense officials that's going to be held at the US Ramstein Air Base in Germany tomorrow is worrying for him. He said the meeting would be taking place after leaders of the World Economic Forum at Davos said that to achieve peace, Russia must lose. That is probably true. It's a foolish statement, of course. It's a confrontation, and I think we should be pulling back from confrontation. The only nation that should be in confrontation with Russia is Ukraine, with good reason. Ukraine is responding to Russia's aggression. We should simply be seeking to negotiate peace. It never occurs to any of the poor, says Medvedev, to draw the following elementary conclusion from this. The loss of a nuclear power in a conventional war can provoke the outbreak of nuclear war. Now that, of course, is a threat, says Medvedev. The nuclear powers did not lose major conflicts on which their fate depends. But this should be obvious to anyone. Well, there is no nuclear power that has invaded another country. No nuclear power has done this where the stakes are so high. Russia is the first and only country that has invaded another country with absolutely no provocation. The idea that Russia is responding to a NATO threat is complete balderdash. Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014. This is when the conflict began. There was no NATO build-up. There has been a mild NATO build-up since then, but there is no NATO threat to Russia. And the Russia's invasion last year into Ukraine is not a response to threats from NATO. It is simply a desire to acquire more territory and to boost the popularity and the prominence of President Putin. And it's gone wrong. It's gone badly wrong. Medvedev, of course, as we know, is a limp individual. I remember shaking his hand. It was like it was like interfacing with a wet cabbage. But wet cabbages can be extremely uncomfortable. I can remember juicing cabbage and drinking cabbage juice. My goodness, that gives you a kick. That is a little like Mr. Medvedev. He is not to be discounted. And Medvedev, of course, has been jockeying for much of the last year for the opportunity to be restored to the presidency in Russia. Should Mr. Putin die, Mr. Medvedev is the obvious and only successor, not a good successor, but certainly an obvious one. And Medvedev is positioning himself as a hawk. He is much, much weaker than Mr. Putin. This position, this option, is much to be feared, and Mr. Zelensky's idea that the war would stop if Putin died is wrong.